Good morning, everyone. This is Ishani El Even. I'm today going to talk about gender. Gender. It's a hot issue, isn't it? Why is something so basic, so absolutely fundamental and non-negotiable such a huge conversation today? Well, I'll get into that later. First, I want to start by enjoying this garden. Isn't it lovely? This is God's artwork, and man cannot, absolutely, by any means, do anything better than God. This is all came from God's mind, God's imagination. So the reason I'm making this video today is because I have two roommates. I live with two guys, and one of them is Central American, and the other one is Aryan, okay? I'm saying Central American because, in my opinion, all Latinos and Hispanics are descendants of Indians, Native people, which are black people. So for Ishani's definitions of race, Native refers to black if you have dark skin. Mulatto refers to Arabs and Latinos because that's a mixture of Native and Aryan. And then Aryan refers to white people. So I have a mulatto and an Aryan, or let's just say a Mexican and a white guy. I'm absolutely fascinated by these two, okay? For one thing, I'll give you a little background. I used to date the Mexican, okay? Now he's your very, very stereotypical Latino man. He is macho. He likes to be in control. And after dating him for a couple of months, I realized that, hey, he wanted me to open the door for him. He actually thought that it was about men going first. And he really does. He really sees the world that way. That it's men first and not ladies first. So I was like fascinated by that. Okay, I'm going to stop dating him right away. So I did. I stopped dating him. Now, on to the white guy. So I'm having these conversations with this white guy who feels that he's born again Christian and he's very much into the Bible. And we got on the subject of Adam and Eve. And he believes that Adam was first and that men came first. And that Eve was created by mutilating Adam, by ripping something out of his side, a rib, and creating a woman out of it. So that Adam is made in the image and likeness of God, but Eve is not. He really, says funny things like, well, women have good things about them too, and you women, sometimes you guys can be smart. Hilarious. I mean, just absolutely fascinating. I'm just totally fascinated by them. All right, so let me just clarify that there's no way that a man can ever give birth to a woman or to anything, okay? There's no way that a male can give birth. Males do not give birth. I think that should be pretty obvious at this point, okay? So women had to be first. I'm sorry. If you've never heard of the immaculate conception, I'm going to tell you right now it's real. It's a real thing, and it used to happen all the time. And that is how the earth got populated, okay? God, up above, the creator, the one who actually projected itself into the world that was created for it, or that it created, I'm not sure which, but I know that it did project itself here, and we are it. We all emanate from the avatar, or the archetype, the human archetype up above. We all do, no matter what your gender is, and no matter what your religious affiliation is, and no matter what your, so on and so forth. If you're human, you're God. Okay, you are an emanation. You are a strand of the divine, holy Christ being that is up in heaven. So, as far as men coming first, that's impossible. Okay, when I was a kid, I remember hearing, "What came first, the chicken or the egg?" And I thought, that's stupid. That is so ridiculous. Obviously, the chicken came first. How the hell else would the egg get laid? Duh. Like, totally, the chicken came first. No way did the egg came first. Well, and it was just, kids are so correct. You know, kids know that we're not on a ball standing upside down. They know that there's no such thing as gravity. Kids are just naturally in tune with reality, and they have it beaten out of them. So I had it beaten out of me. And by the time I had it beaten out of me, mostly by teachers, educators, television, family members, so on and so forth, and so on and so on. So finally, I got to the point where I was confused. I was confused. And I actually questioned what came first, the chicken or the egg. And, I lost the wisdom that I had as a child, and I started to question whether whether the egg came before the chicken. All right. So this was a time of confusion in my life. I was in my 20s, and I became an atheist pretty much, that, nothing was right or wrong. It was all interpretive. It was all based on the viewer, the subject decided if things were right or wrong. So, I was thinking about this because we get confused at some point in our lives, and we start to think there is no right or wrong, and that there isn't, we start to lose touch with reality. We start to lose touch with God's plan, and not understanding that, no, there is a right and wrong, and things do have a basic fundamental reality. So women had to be here first, okay? Females. I'm not going to say women, because maybe that's going to make the men feel uptight. The men are feeling really insecure right now, and I will get into that in a minute. But, okay, females, the divine Shakti, the goddess, was here first. And the reason that she was here was so that she could give birth to mankind. Only a female can give birth, okay? Only a hen can lay an egg, all right? A chicken can't even lay an egg. A rooster cannot lay an egg. So it's kind of interesting how the Illuminati catches up your brain, because they say, what came first, the chicken or the egg? They don't say what came first, the hen or the egg, because if they said that, it'd be pretty obvious. The hen came first to lay the egg. All right, so the Illuminati is doing a lot of things involving the Bible, because the Bible is a Roman Catholic document that was written by, Catholics, the Pope and them. They're the ones that put all that stuff together in order to justify slavery. And the Bible is pretty new. It's only maybe 400 or 500 years old, right around the time when they started enslaving Native Americans and taking Native Americans all across the world to work as slaves. There was a slave trade, and it was not from Africa to the Americas. It was from the Americas over to Europe and sometimes over to Africa. But this place was heavily populated before the colonial powers came here, and before Columbus came here. It was heavily populated with black and brown people, and probably some mulattoes. I mean, it was a nice place. But it was, anytime you read documents from that time, you will see that it was the richest country in the world. Gold, pearls, diamonds, beautiful women, absolutely luscious landscape, because Native people take care of the land. Native people, black people, brown people, people with dark skin, naturally love the land and naturally know God's will, and they don't deviate from it under normal circumstances. It takes a lot of trauma to get black and brown people to deviate from God's will. So I just want to really narrow in on the point that the hen had to come first, okay? The woman had to come first. It's ladies first, guys. It's ladies first, okay? Without women and without females, you don't exist. And I hate to sound brash. I do. I'm not trying to start no mess. I'm not trying to start, because as far as I'm concerned, the Illuminati does that all the time. They're constantly instigating any kind of differences that human beings have, including gender differences. Every day, I'm faced with men who want me to open the door for them. I'm faced with men who run in front of me when I'm walking into a building. And speaking of walking into buildings, the fact that buildings are closed right now, and I'm going to get into why males are feeling insecure and feeling like they have to compete with women and females now. Well, the Illuminati is a very ancient bloodline of reptilian type human beings, meaning that these people mate with animals and reptiles and you know, they're nasty. They're the Illuminasties, okay? So the Illuminasties do not have penis. Nobody does in there. They don't have penises. Actually, Lady Gaga does have his penis, which is pretty cool. And I'm grateful for that. And Lady Gaga actually admitted it and showed the penis on camera for anyone who's doubting me and saying that Serena and Venus are girls. No, they're not. They do not have uteruses. They do not have vaginas, okay? If they have vaginas, they are man-made vaginas, which is easy to do. But what I'm trying to say, the Illuminati is into mocking the creator, okay? They're into distorting anything that's natural for the sake of destroying this place and our species, the human species, okay? They want to mock the creator. So they cross-dress the children. I won't say their children because all children belong to God, but they cross-dress the children that come into their possession either by kidnapping, extortion, rape, or whatever. They acquire many children and they cross-dress them all, okay, so that their gender changes, right? Obviously you can't change gender. So this has been happening for 1,000 years in the Illuminati, and what they're trying to do is export that out to the normal people. So in the Illuminati, the penis is so, you know, it's destroyed. They either amputate it on boys. They either amputate the penis, or they sort of like chemically sterilize the boys by giving them massive doses of estrogen hormone injections, and this shrinks their penis down to what they call a shenis. And a shenis looks like a large clitoris. It's either a really big large clitoris or it's a very tiny and impotent penis, but it's a shenis at that point. Now they're still males, you know, they are still boys. They still have a Y chromosome. They still have an XY, and all they got to do is spit in a cup, and that'll tell us what they are. That'll tell us what Michelle Obama is, and Melania Trump, and so on. Those are male-lania. Those are males. Now, the Illuminati is ran by women. Okay, I just want to clarify that too, because you know, when you see an image of something that looks male, don't think that it's necessarily a man. All right. Don't think that George Michael was a man. Don't think that Michael Jackson was a man. And I'm just using the easy ones because I don't want to say Obama or Trump. I don't want to say that because then people are going to be like, oh, I love Obama. Oh, Obama's a man. You know, and all this argument. I don't need it. I'm just going to do easy ones. George Michael, you know, Prince. Obviously, that's the most obvious one of all. Does that look like a masculine? Does that look like a feminine man? Or does it look like a masculine woman? Okay, so this is a very real thing. They're trying to break males because within every male lives the will of God. Every man and every male boy is born with the seed of God's will in him. And if the male is healthy and the man is healthy, and especially if he becomes a successful alpha, or not even only the alphas, all the males have the potential to manifest and unfold and reveal God's will. Okay? God's will is a big deal. That means we're here for a reason. That's what God's will is all about. That means we're not here willy-nilly just to enjoy ourselves and just to seek pleasure. And you see how important that is. If males are men and doing what they're supposed to do, which is to protect women, male control and domination over women is satanic. Males are not meant to control and dominate women. Males are meant to control and dominate each other in an effort to work as a team to achieve something important. Something like protecting nature, okay? Protecting the women and the children. Now, who are you protecting them from? You're protecting them from the bad guys. And that is what that mechanism is for. It should never be turned against women. The mechanism of control should never be turned against women or children. Women and children have become sexualized, they become objectified, they're treated like objects. The Bible has men thinking that they don't even need women anymore. So you got men becoming women, and you got men trying to be the mother and raise the child. And now with this lockdown, you got men who can't even go anywhere anymore. They are at home. They're literally in the turf, on the turf of the female. The home is the female's turf. That's her place. She got control over that. And the elites know this. So they've made it now so that males have become hyper feminized. They have to cover their faces just like a woman in Saudi Arabia. All the social distancing and covering your face, that's Sharia law. That is the law in some Arab countries. You will get killed if your face isn't covered legally. Some men can kill some women legally if their faces are not covered under Sharia law. So, and public shaming and humiliation. And I mean, it's not even, it's a huge fight for those brave Arab women that actually come out without their faces covered. And it's a brave move for us Americans now, and Australians and English and everybody all over the world to go out, in public without your face covered. It's a brave thing to go into a business without your face covered and have some little cashier who's overworked and stressed out tell you have to cover your face. I've even had them tell me that I had to put my face mask on correctly and I had to pull it up over my nose. I mean, we're in a war. Okay, we are in a war, and we're not in a war against each other. And that's what I'm saying all of this for. I'm desperate, okay? I'm desperate for human beings to understand this is not a war of a battle of the sexes. We don't have no beef. You got a beef with your woman, you got a beef with your man. You guys don't really have beef, not really. It's coming from high up. It's top heavy. It's coming from the top down. Because the males are bored. They don't have anything to do. They're at home. A lot of them are resorting to drug addiction and just being couch potatoes. And that's going to, that is causing resentment amongst a lot of the male population. And a lot of them take it out on the women and the children. And they have to compete for turf in the home. So I'm going to end this rant. It could go on much, much longer. I mean, this is just a subject that I don't think we're educated enough about. Men didn't come first, guys. Okay? No, males cannot give birth. Males cannot populate an entire earth. That was a female that did that. Not only one female. I believe that the first race of people was female. And you know why? Because every embryo that is created is female. When a sperm enters an egg, it produces a female. Every time. There's never an anomaly. It never produces a male. You are a female before you become a male. That is why a lot of males are easily in tune and in touch with their female attributes, because they were female in the beginning when they were in their mama's belly. It's just not anything to brag about. I'm a woman. I'm not bragging that women were first or that women are first or anything. I want the truth to be known. I'm interested in everybody having the best, healthiest, most well-rounded experience that they can have here on God's green earth. Because the Illuminati are trying to produce an artificial reality. They aren't trying, they're doing it. They're doing it. I live in a small town and I saw a tranny. I see trannies walking around, and if I went up to them, they would say that they were a woman. Poor things. They are trauma victims. Nothing more. You're not a woman. You're a trauma victim. Tell the truth. You can never be a woman. You don't have a uterus. Okay? You can't give birth. Well, you might be able to breastfeed if they give you enough hormones and they pump your breast, because I found out that yes, males can breastfeed, which blew my mind. Okay? So we're really not that different. But we're in a war for our godliness. Are we going to succumb to the Illuminati plan and the Illuminati agenda, the Illuminati agenda, which is really nasty, by the way, for there to be artificially inseminated babies made in a plastic bubble, and women don't even carry the babies anymore, like Brave New World, you know? They would love that. They're trying to go the transhuman route. And if males continue to avoid respecting females as they should, as their parents did, because I'm sure your dad wasn't a crappy person like that. Like, I'm sure that he opened the door for ladies. I'm sure he had respect for ladies. Now, you know, it's a lot of pressure on males to do that, but you know what? Males in general are obedient people to God's will. And all they have to do is be convinced of something. If they think something is right, then they just head on in full force. They don't think about it. They just do it because they think it's right. They believe in it. So males just have to be convinced of the truth of what they already know. They know what's right and what's wrong. They do. They know it's not right to, you know, to perpetrate violence against women. They know it's not right to sexualize children and to perpetrate violence against children, no matter what Netflix says. No matter what Hulu says, no matter what, you know, the news, CNN or whatever, no matter what these things are saying, it's not okay. It's not okay to sexualize children and to be violent towards women. So, this earth is a goddess, okay? The earth itself is a goddess, the Mother Earth. That's why they call it the Mother Earth. If you can't respect the goddess and the divine feminine, you can't respect the earth. And if you don't respect the earth, then the earth is going to look how it does up right now, like a wasteland. If you drive across the United States, it's mostly desert. There ain't nothing going on. It's desert. They got a few monocrops where they sterilize the soil so nothing can live in it, except for these fake plastic plants. We're eating fake. Now, all of this stuff that you're looking at is real. This is the real deal up here in Seattle, and that's why I moved here, because there's actual foliage here. That's indigenous and that's robust. But, you know, most parts of the country, you're going to get fake plastic plants because they're genetically modifying seeds, and that's a whole other issue. But you see, it all ties into respecting the divine feminine. If you respect the divine feminine and the goddess, that is represented in every female, no matter what her age is. She is a divine representation of the Shakti. And if you can just imagine that you yourself, as a male, that males themselves are also, you know, originally a female, then that can give you some perspective, okay? Females give birth to males, not the other way around. It's preposterous and insane of an idea. Oh, well, he's God. God does not have a gender, okay? The avatar above is genderless. The avatar above is everything. Everything that is represented in our human spectrum, okay, meaning male and female, is what the avatar is. The avatar, or the archetype, divided itself in order to perceive itself, in order to understand itself, to love itself, and for some reasons that we don't know, because only the males can reveal that purpose. What the hell did God make us for? Okay? Women cannot reveal that. A woman by herself, that's why women are so desperate for love, because they know that without a man, they really don't know what's up. We really don't know why we're here. We don't know anything unless there's a man to reveal that, okay? So the man reveals the will of God, and the woman gives birth to the will of God. It's elegant, it's magical, and there's no competition in it, guys, okay? Thank you for watching this super long ranting video. I hope it didn't bore you to tears, and fight for your right to breathe air, okay? That's where I'm at right now. I went to Mount Shasta. I know this should be over by now, but I went to Mount Shasta recently, real quick, and I walked into a gas station, and guess what? Nobody was wearing a mask. And you know what? Nobody asked me to put one on. Big ups to Mount Shasta.